and all the others. This is Alex, W7FTM, along with Vicky, K8VKY. We will be your net control for the Saturday Night Trivia Net number 146. This is a directed net, so all traffic should go through net control. Does anyone have any emergency traffic they were holding until the start of the net? If so, now's your chance. If you do have an emergency at any time during the net, just say break, break, identify your station, and we will come to your assistance immediately. The format of the net is live trivia. One random question will be read to each person who checks in. You'll have 3 answers to select from, but before we get to that, the question of the night is there something you've done recently for the first time? Have you tried something new recently? Yeah. A lot of people probably haven't, but let's find out. And let's see who's checked in tonight via the text and email lines. We have KJ6ARR, German George in Scottsdale, the prospector. He plays by email, and he got his question correct. JR2FJI, George in Kawagoe, Japan, still busy with work vacation schedule, so he also played by email and got his question correct. Oh, daytime naps is something new he's starting. So, N6MOT, Little Owl in Monterey, California. V3RWJ, Chris in Ancaster, Ontario, Canada. KK7HLD, Dave in Portland, Oregon. KN6MIK, Mike in San Diego. KK7AVK, Victoria in Phoenix. KE9ESS, Nicholas in Madison, Wisconsin. N5ZUA, Steve in Houston. KE5MUX, Teresa in College Station, Texas. KI7ZRI, Don in Kennewick, Washington. KD5AJZ, Alex in Pasadena, Texas. K8BYU, Roy in Blasdell, New York. Let me drop. Robert in Kelly Ridge, Australia. VK2DY, checked in via email. Larry in Elk Grove, California, along with Stephanie in Elk Grove, KN6JLX and KN6JLW, respectively. Dusty in Orlando, Florida, KQ4OQN. Jason, Mobile, Alabama, KR4JVK. John in South St. Paul, Minnesota, KB0GUF. Scott in Jamestown, New York, N7FGP. Chris in Hollywood, Florida, KQ4UPQ. VA3YBS. Bill, Benville, Ontario, Canada, and NP9A. Patrick, Wisconsin. Anybody else like to join us tonight? Full call sign, phonetically twice, please.
This is Kilo 6 Kilo Juliet Victor. Kilo 6 Kilo Juliet Victor, Kevin in Valley Springs, California.
Victor Alpha 3 Delta Foxtrot Golf. Victor Alpha 3 Delta Foxtrot Golf, Jason.
Whiskey 9 Delta Whiskey Hotel, Whiskey 9 Delta Whiskey Hotel.
Okay, hold it up there. Looks like a good start. We also added Kevin in Valley Springs, California, K6KJV, Jason in Oakville, Ontario, Canada, VA3 DFG, and David in Owensboro, Kentucky, W9DWH. Again, the question of the night, is there something you've done recently for the first time? Little Al, Monterey, California, N6MOT. You're up first.
Well, good evening, Alex. Little Al here, N6MOT in Monterey. You know, I really, nothing really that I can think of that I did new. I don't know. I really can't think of anything. I'm just chugging along here with life. Hopefully I'll be retiring next year. That's something I'm looking forward to. But anyway, I'm ready for a question.
Well, if we ask the question again in a year, you'll have an answer. All right, Luau, your question is, what was the full title of the movie Dr. Strangelove from 1964? What was the full title? Was it A, Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb? B, Dr. Strangelove, It's the End of the World as We Know It? Or C, Dr. Strangelove, A Prediction for 2026?
Wow, I got no idea. I really don't even understand it, but I'm just going to go and roll the dice and go with A. I don't even know what you said, but I'm going to go with A. You have a great evening, Alex. Thanks for doing the net. 7-3.
And A is correct, actually. If you look up the movie and you'll find its full title, it's Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. And a very funny, cool, strange movie, which I must see for war room scene alone. Anyway, thank you. Hello, Chris in Antastar, Ontario, Canada, V3RWJ. Is there something you've done recently for the first time?
No, unfortunately not. That's, I don't know. I think I lead a boring life. I'm ready for my question.
Something you're willing to admit to that you've done for the... No, sorry. All right, Chris, your question is, who was the first ruler of the Ottoman Empire? First ruler of the... I don't want the second or third. The first ruler of the Ottoman Empire. Was that A, Suleiman the Magnificent, B, Osman the First, or C, Emperor Ikea?
Okay, it's not Turkish Delight. I'm gonna guess A. I have no idea. I'll guess A, Alpha.
I'd be surprised if he got that, because I didn't know either. It is Osman the First. B was the first ruler of the Ottoman Empire. Interesting character. He liked to put his feet up and relax a lot, from what I understand. But thank you, Chris, for bravely answering that question. Dave in Portland, KK7HLD. Dave, something you've done recently for the first time?
Hey, thank you very much. This is Dave, KK7HLD. That was a pretty bad joke, by the way. Or good, or more growing worthy. Anyway, yes, I decided I was going to see how hard it was to distill my own water, because I use it for my cars and my CPAP machine and other stuff. And even though it's, $1.60 a gallon or more, it adds up. I'm using a couple gallons a week, so I thought I'd try it. However, the distiller I got needs some work. Oh well. Anyways, back to you there, Alex.
No, I would agree. That's a worthy investment. I think, isn't Oregon one of the places where they come and arrest you if you collect rainwater? Because that's the state's rain, not yours, even if it's falling on your house. I don't know. Question, Dave, is, this predates both of us. Which actress starred as the titular character in Gilda, the movie Gilda from 1946? Was that A, Marilyn Monroe, B, Lauren Bacall, or C, Rita Hayworth?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Not always great with names. No, I don't think Oregon's like that. I know, and I don't remember Oregon or Washington, but there's actually an area here in the Pacific Northwest, not like semi-dry Portland, that gets over 200 inches of rain a year, so tropical rainforest. And they pretty much, live off of citrus, so I don't remember that's in Oregon or Washington, though. We do have deserts in Oregon, too, so. I'm going to have to say, C. I'm going to have to say C because none of those were size C that I remember. Over to you, KK7HLB.
Parents enjoyed watching Rita Hayworth throw her hair back when she makes her on-screen presence. And they also showed that in Shawshank Redemption, I believe, too. Yeah, it was Rita Hayworth played Gilda. Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Mike, San Diego, KN6MIK. Well, they do shoot you if you collect rainwater. What's something you've done recently for the first time?
Good evening, Alex. Always a pleasure. KN6MIK, Mike here in San Diego. All I got is saying, after 2 weeks, if you still want to do it, and you haven't done it, then it's past its expiration date. And I passed all my expiration dates, so I don't have anything. Go ahead, brother, hit me.
You see, now, if you ask this question to someone in their 20s or a teenager, you'd have an answer because we took all kinds of chances when we were younger, even into our 30s. But now, not so much. Your question, Mike, is who was the first person to step onto the moon? Yeah, the moon's back in again. Who was the first person to actually walk on it? Was it A, Michael Jackson, B, Buzz Aldrin, or C, Neil Armstrong?
I'm going to have to go, now you got my memory flipping here. I think it was C. C, Charlie. Always a pleasure, Alex. KN6MIK, back to you.
Yeah, a younger person might miss that one, be more likely to, I think. But yeah, it was Neil Armstrong, not Michael Jackson. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Victoria in Phoenix, KK7AVK, welcome back. Something you've done recently for the first time.
Good evening, Alex. This is Victoria, KK7AVK. And the only thing that I can think of that I recently did was building my copper pyramid. That is very cool, and it's a meditation pyramid and all around my bed. It's not a huge one, but at least it's 1 inch pipe. Go ahead with the question.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, it's kind of fun to put together, too, once you get the right angles and everything. And, yeah, you don't need one the size of Giza in your backyard. HOA might complain. Anyway, if it was. Your question is, which famous explorer first circumnavigated the globe? I got it out. Was it A, Ferdinand Magellan, B, Christopher Columbus, or C, Barney Google? Which one of those circumnavigated the globe first?
Well, I'm going to go with that. Let's see what happens. Thanks, Alex. KK7AVK, back to you.
And Alpha is the correct answer. Yeah, Ferdinand Magellan was the first famous explorer to circumnavigate the globe. Well, somebody less famous did it, and they just didn't get credit. Anyway, you got the credit. Too bad what happened to him. Huh? You can read about it. Nicholas, Madison, Wisconsin, K9ESS. Welcome back, because there's something you've done recently for the first time.
Well, good evening, Alex. Yeah, I don't know about this whole old and young thing. I think that that's maybe a myth. I think we need to step outside of our comfort zone. I think it's good to learn things all through life. I'm not a young man anymore, and I think it's important to learn new things. And I would say, for me, something I haven't done before was, learning about standing wave ratios and HF propagation. I only started doing ham radio in February, so it's all new to me, and I'm enjoying it. And so I think we should all be scholars for the rest of our lives, even into our old age. My dad lived to 96, and he was learning about archaeology in the 80s, and he was learning about, he tried to be a real estate 80s and 70s. So you never know. There's always things to learn. See, and back to you.
Amateur radio is great for that. I recently never used a balun before on HF. I know you're supposed to. I've always had vertical antennas, and learning about them and hooked one up, and antenna is much quieter now and works better. So. And, okay, your question is, in the movie Fight Club, what hidden in-movie hucksterism appears in almost every scene? Was it A, Coca-Cola cans, B, Budweiser beer cans, or C, the Paper Street Soap Company soap?
It's been a while since I watched that movie. Good movie. But I know the soap is the whole thing. They make the soap out of the fat from the people that they get from the plastic surgery clinics, isn't it? So I'm going to go with Charlie. That's my guess. But I could be wrong. It's been a while. So you have a good night, Alex. 89 ESA. Back to you.
Thank you, Nicholas. Glad you could make it tonight. And it's, you're right, the Paper Street Soap Company is in the movie and is talked about, but it's a fictional company. And what they actually have all over the place, if you look next time you watch it, Coca-Cola cans in the guy's office and the house. Just yeah, they're soundly plugging Coke in that movie. Thank you, Nicholas. This is W7FTM. Along with K8 VKY, you're listening to Saturday Night Trivia Net on the East Coast Reflector, and we're going to Steve in Houston, N5, ZUA, something you've done recently for the first time, Steve.
Well, good evening, Alex, and yeah, it's probably kind of trivial, but today, actually, for the first time, I added a can of 1234YF refrigerant to my truck for the AC. And it took me a good 5 minutes to figure out I was using the older tap that I had for R134A, and that won't work on a can of 1234YF. And finally, after about 5 minutes, I figured out by using a magnifying glass that, oh, the threads on a can of 1234YF are left-handed threads. So I guess that's to keep you from accidentally using the wrong tap on the wrong can or putting the wrong refrigerant in the wrong vehicle or something. But I'm glad to report now that after putting a can of 134A in Mom's car and a can of 1234YF in my truck, both vehicles are blowing ice-cold air, cold enough to freeze the nipples off of a boar hog. But of course, here in Texas, we're still trying to figure out why boar hogs have nipples. Ready for a question?
Well, armadillos do, So even though there were safety features to prevent you from doing the wrong thing, you still managed to do it anyway. Yeah, it sounds familiar. I took a can of a caulking gun one time, put the tube of caulk in it, and I did the top, kept pressing. It would not come out. What's wrong with that? I thought there was something wrong with the gun. Inside the caulk tube was another seal you're supposed to remove, and yeah. Your question is, which empire was ruled by Genghis Khan? What did Genghis Khan reign over? A, the Mongol Empire, B, the Ottoman Empire, or C, the Botany Bay?
Oh, boy, it's been a long time since I've had world history. Probably 50 years, but let's try B, Bravo, just for fun and see what happens. And, oh, by the way, if you need any cans of R12A, I've got a dozen of those for a high price, too. N5ZUA. Thanks for doing the net.
Well, you know, Phoenix and Texas, those things are gold. That was the Mongol Empire. Genghis Khan ruled the Mongols. I won't do that Genghis Khan joke. I've done it too many times already. Thank you, Steve. Teresa in College Station, Texas, KU5MUX. Something you've done recently for the first time.
This is KU5MUX, and I hate to say it, I'm one of the boring people. Not too much interesting or news going on in my life. Oh, what's my other question?
Hi, Teresa. And Vicky says that, the nipple question Steve brought up, they start forming from the head down, and the nipples form before the gender is decided. You should be writing some of these questions, Vicky. Come on. That's very good. I did not know that. All right, Teresa, your question is, the modern use of the phrase security blanket comes from A, the Charles Schulz cartoon Peanuts, B, modern psychiatry to describe codependent people with borderline personality disorder, or C, the U.S. military. Where does the modern phrase security blanket come from?
Oh, Lord, I have no idea. Just because I always have loved it, we'll go with A in the Peanuts. Thank you for doing the net 730 KE5 and you what?
And Peanuts is correct. Yeah, the security blanket, the modern term, it's been around a while, since the 20s, but nowadays it's described, or the description comes from the Charles Schulz cartoon Peanuts, because Linus always had a security blanket while sucking his thumb. That's, cartoons can affect I think I got a couple more of these in here where cartoons affect modern phrases. Thank you, Teresa. Don in Kennebec, Washington, KI7ZRI. Something you've done recently for the first time. Now, I know you do a lot of things for the first time often. What's the latest?
Well, hey there, Alex, KI7ZRI. Actually, I was just saying nothing, but Dorothy reminded me, today, I actually cleared out enough of my garage where I could actually park my truck in the garage and close the door. That's pretty amazing.
I'm going to get to that eventually, honey. Don't worry. She's listening. Don, your question is, where does the phrase heebie-jeebies come from? Heebie-jeebies. A, a voodoo curse. B, African-American slaves in the 1800s. Or C, the comic strip Barney Google and Snuffy Smith from 1923.
Yeah, I haven't a clue. I'm going to guess beta. Thanks for doing that there, Alex.
Now, having the heebie-jeebies, I'm sure most of us have heard that growing up at one time or another, comes from C, the comic strip Barney Google and Snuffy Smith by Billy DeBeck. It predates most of us here, but my parents sure enjoyed it, I'm sure. Thank you. Thank you, Don. Let's go to Alex in Pasadena, Texas, KD5AJZ. Something you've done recently for the first time there, Alex?
Actually, yes. It's one of those full circle kind of things. So for about 35 years I worked in cardiology and did a lot of helping with implants, pacemakers and defibrillators, and trained, hundreds and hundreds of patients in what to do and everything, and then retired from all that and decided to have cardiac arrest. And boy, when they came in to do the training, I did it for them. I was really a dick, so, yeah. So, besides being a dick, hopefully only for the first time there, but definitely having one of those full circle kind of things happen to me where something you trained other people in for years and years and years, and then you had to do it yourself. So, other than being really glad to be here, I'm ready for my question, Alex.
The fact that you can look at that in a humorous way, I think, says a lot about your character. Oh, yeah, very good. Well, at least you know what to do. Tell people what to do. All right, your question, Alex. Well, Alex, not a techie science question, but you get the weird news trivia story of the week. Hang on a second. There we go. Okay, which of the following headlines was an actual news story from last week? And I swear to you, one of these was an actual headline from last week. A, photos reveal Kristi Noem's husband wearing large fake breasts and skin-tight pink shorts to chat with online fetish models. B, black half of Tiger Woods tased by cops after Asian half crashes car. Or C, Iran imposes new cash, grass, or ass fee for straight-at-home roofs. Of course, that last item is a donkey, but what do you think's the real one?
All of those are really equally bizarre, Alex. I'm literally going to take a shot in the dark. Let's go for A. Thank you for doing the net, and it's the first time for me getting that one. That's a great category. 5AJZ, back to you.
Well, nicely done on your first shot at it, and you're correct. Yeah, it's the weird news story of the week. Of those, the true one, although some of them may have been, no, the other two weren't true. Photos reveal Kirsty Noem's husband wearing large fake breasts and skin-tight pink shorts to chat with online fetish models. I saw that, I thought, what's weird about that? Some people, I guess, think it is. Thank you, Alex. Roy in Blasdell, New York, K8 BYU. Tell me, Roy, have you done something recently for the first time? Damn it, Roy, you're putting me behind. I got a schedule to keep. You better be either sick or dead over there. Roy, Blasdell, New York, K8 BYU. Holy mother of God. Well, maybe later. It's all right. I was going to make his question, where does that movie line come from? Which movie? All right, Robert, Kelly Ridge, Australia, VK2DY. Hello, Robert. Is there something you've done recently for the first time?
Good afternoon, Alex. This is Robert, VK2DY. Man, in the 20s and 30s, I did some really wild stuff, but being in my 70s now, the wildest thing I've done, the new thing I've done is FT8 on amateur radio. So life changes, I guess, as you get older. But anyway, FT8, I had never done that until about a week ago, and I've got one running on the air at the moment. VK2DY.
Come on, Robert, you haven't boxed a kangaroo or done any of the other stereotypical things we think over here in the States. Well, it's all right. You're from America. You probably have more sense than that. Your question, though, is, oh, wait a minute. Here we go. What is the name of the main character in The Terminator from 1984, the Terminator movie? The main character. You ready? A, John Connor. B, Sarah Connor. C, the Cyberdyne model T-800.
VK2DY. That would be Sarah Connor, VK2DY.
Very good, Robert. Debate. John Connor was mentioned it, of course. Sarah Connor was the main character, not the Cyberdyne model T-800. See, Arnold wasn't a big star yet, and he only made $75,000 for that movie. For Terminator 2, well, he'd gotten more popular by then. He was paid $15 million, so he jumps to being the main character in the next movie, the sequel. Thank you, Robert. Larry, Elk Grove, California. Stephanie, Elk Grove, California. You guys must be neighbors. KN6JLX, KN6JLW. Something you've done recently for the first time, either of you, or both of you.
Hey, Alex. This is Larry KN6JLX along with Stephanie KN6JLW, and there's a lot of embarrassing things that we've done recently that we can't talk about. But probably hoisting an old person in the back of our car and actually needing a dare to do it. So that's one thing. Our question. Stephanie said she heard Route 66 referred to as the Mother Road for the first time. So that's kind of weird.
Powering off now.
The Mother Road, and I still didn't get that first thing you said, hoisting an old person in your truck. I probably misheard that. Maybe not.
And we had to put a step so they could get in. So that was a first for me. Go ahead with our question.
It's okay, we'll figure it out. Your question, guys, is where was the first paper money used in Europe? The very first place they used paper money, was it A, France, B, Sweden, or C, no cash accepted in Europe, cards only? Plus I have those damn roundabouts all over the place. Anyway, what do you say?
Alex, we're both going to go with Sweden. Thanks for doing the net, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, for sure. How'd you know that? Yeah, it's, okay. Yeah, Sweden is correct. Thank you. And, Larry, one more time on what the unusual thing it was you did, which I still, neither of us can quite figure it out. One more time, slowly, and then I promise I'll let you go.
Well, we were transporting an older person, and we actually had to devise steps to get them into the vehicle. We've never had to do that before.
Oh, strap them in. Okay, that understood. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. All right, Dusty in Orlando, Florida, KQ4OQN. Something you've done recently for the first time?
Well, I'd say it's pretty lame, but I tried a couple new machines that they put in the Planet Fitness by my house, and I wasn't as damaged as I thought I would be. Something more exciting is I'm going to go hang gliding sometime in this month, I think.
Hang gliding, that's probably easy to find when they're written now. There's not that many people are doing it, at least around here. It was real popular in Arizona because the mountains, as you get out of Phoenix, you see them up there and over by Lake Pleasant. But let me know how it goes. Your question is, which actor? Nope, that's not it. Who was the first person to reach the North Pole? There we go. Was it A, Robert Peary, B, Admiral Byrd, or C, Santa Claus?
I wish you would have gave me Michael Jackson, but I'm going to go with B, Bravo, and as long as hang gliding doesn't go flat, I will let you know how it goes.
Did you get the question, Jason, KR4JVK?
KR4JVK, sorry, I think my repeater connection disconnected. Can I get that question again? I apologize.
Yeah, no problem. It was a network issue. Question tonight is there something you've done recently for the first time?
Oh yeah, so the first thing something that's new to me is I watched America send the astronauts to the moon. I wasn't born back in the 60s, so yeah, watching the Artemis launch and following the moon mission live online, that's definitely a first for me. Great question so far tonight, Alex. I'm ready for mine. Back to you.
Thank you, Jason. Some of this is like, although I was very, very young when they first landed on there, it was still interesting to watch that, all the newer technology and not a tin can or a piece of aluminum foil with big buttons, flashy buttons in it, like a old Star Trek episode, to see the actual new technology. So that was interesting. And your question is, which actor, this is one of those rare ones that most people would know, which actor suggested Bubba be played by a woman in Forrest Gump? One of the actors said, Bubba should be a woman. Was that A, Tom Hanks that said that, B, Gary Sinise, or C, RuPaul?
Oh, wow. I can't imagine Bubba being a woman in that movie, but I guess Gary Sinise, that's a guess. Bravo, Gary Sinise. KR4 JVK, back to you. Thanks for hosting that tonight.
One of his best acting roles ever was in that movie, and another one called, the one with, Victoria knows it. Can't think of it right now, but it is actually Tom Hanks that suggested Bubba be played by a woman in Forrest Gump. Now, I don't know how they would have worked that into the script. I think women were fighting in Vietnam side by side with soldiers in, but they probably could have somehow. But yeah, well, there's some trivia that'll win you a drink at a bar. John, South St. Paul, Minnesota, KB0GUF. Something you've done recently for the first time?
Well, good evening, Alex. Thanks for having me. KB0GUF. I think not to boast, but one of the things I've done for the first, and I hope the last time, was I was in a restaurant having some dinner, and I had to perform a Heimlich maneuver on a choking guy, and it went well. He lost his dinner on his plate, but he was able to draw breath. What's my question tonight, sir?
Well, that is cool. Yeah. I used to go to restaurants waiting for someone to choke just so I could try it out, but I figured that was kind of morbid, so I stopped doing it. But that's good. I'm glad you got to use that and help somebody. It's good to know it works. Thank you, John. And your question is, who was the famous Red Baron of World War I? What was the name of the Red Baron? Was it A, Gino Mozzarella, B, Manfred von Richthofen, or C, Albert Ball?
That would be Bravo. Manfred von Richthofen. KB0GUF. See you next week.
Her name, because he was German, of course, not Italian or English, like the other two. You're correct. Yep. You got it. Manfred von Richthofen. It's chased by Snoopy in the Peanuts comic strip. Thank you, John. All right, next up, one of our facilitators here, Scott, Jamestown, New York, N7FTP. Thanks for being one of the few to visit my net. Scott, your question tonight is there something you've done recently for the first time?
Well, good evening, Alex, and thank you and Vicki for doing the net tonight. Well, you know, I did move to New York, and I hadn't visited before, so two firsts, really. So, ready for a question.
That's right, you did it backwards. You went from Texas to New York instead of the other way around, but that's okay. You're in a good spot upstate there, so I probably want to live there myself. Your question is, Oh, winters, that's right. Never mind. What year did the Berlin Wall fall? When we lose the Berlin Wall, was it A, leap year, B, 1985, or C, 1989?
Sorry about that. Don't know what was happening there. Yeah, I do a lot of things backwards, by the way. I'm going to go, let's say 85. I think that was B. Thanks for doing the net again.
Right decade, Scott, but wrong year. Yeah, it was 89. It didn't come down until 1989, and that was a good news cycle watching that on CNN back then. I'd pull out the exact year. I probably couldn't tell you unless I had it in front of me. Hey, Scott, sure. It's the W7FT. I'm on with KVKY. You're listening to the Saturday Night Trivia Net on the East Coast Reflector, going to Chris in Hollywood, Florida. KQ4UPK. There's something you've done recently for the first time, Chris.
Hey, Alex and Vicky and everybody else on the net tonight. Honestly, I really can't think of anything that I have done for the first time recently. No, nothing that comes to mind, buddy. I'm sorry. But I am ready for the question.
How's your history? Which Viking explorer is credited for discovering North America around 1000 AD? Was it A, Eric the Red, B, Leif Erikson, or C, the great-great-great-great-grandfather of the guy who created IKEA?
Well, around 1000 AD, I can't even pronounce it, but Erickson, it's B. I think it's Leif Erikson.
Yeah, it probably is. If you were just the English version is Leif Erikson, but that's, Eric, probably a very popular name in Scandinavia, looks like. Eric the Red, Erikson. Probably shouldn't do that joke either. Thank you, Chris. You got it, buddy. Bill, Denville, Ontario, Canada, VA3YBS. Something you've done recently for the first time?
Yeah, good evening, Alex. This is VA3YBS, Bill in Denville. Something I did recently, we had a power outage last week, and I ran my radio setup here on my battery backup system. It's the first time I've actually put it to use, and it worked just great. I made a few calls, and power came back on within a half an hour, so it wasn't a very long test. I'm ready for my question.
That's something to add to your notes, how that they do that, so it's, now you know. Funny, now, one of you nerdy guys has said kissed a woman yet. That's, just kidding. Bill, your question is, who was the longest reigning monarch in British history before Queen Elizabeth II? Yeah, who was the longest before her? Because she was the longest, passed away recently. Was it A, King Crimson, B, King Henry VIII, or C, Queen Victoria?
I'm going to go with C for Charlie, Queen Victoria. Thanks for doing that, Alex. This is VA3YBS, back to you.
And congratulations, you are correct. Yeah, Queen Victoria had a really long reign, not as long as Elizabeth, which at that time was a good thing because a lot of them, they were killing off female monarchs. But she, Mary Tudor, they took her out. But Queen Victoria, apparently they liked. Thank you. Thank you, Bill. Patrick, Madison, Wisconsin, NT 9A, something you've done recently for the first time, Patrick?
my fairly recent history in life, I've done a lot of new things, getting into ham radio and trying to learn Russian and all sorts of stuff. But my newest thing that I've never done before is actually get a credit card. I opened a credit card for the very first time a couple of weeks ago. So that's first time for T9A. What's my question?
Help the evil empire gotcha, huh? Yeah, be careful. You're old enough, I don't have to tell you, be careful with debt. Best to have a credit rating of 0. A lot of people don't believe that, but that means you don't borrow and you're not in debt. Try borrowing, though, with a credit rating of 0. Your question, Patrick, is who played the role of Mrs. Robinson in The Graduate from 1967? Yeah, who was Mrs. Robinson in that movie? Was it A, Anne Bancroft, B, Katharine Hepburn, or C, Marilyn Monroe?
I do not even know modern actors, let alone ones of generations past. So this is a complete guess. I'm just going to guess B, multiple choice, split the middle, and go with B. Hope I'm right. Back to you. NT9A.
Yeah, no problem. Yes, those of us who've seen the movie lots of times know it's Anne Bancroft played Mrs. Robinson in The Graduate. And the funny thing is, in all the scenes she's in, you catch the movie next time, she's always wearing a leopard print or a cat print clothing to indicate her predatory nature. That's a little behind-the-scenes trivia for you there. Thank you. Patrick. Kevin in Valley Springs, California, who I'll bet knew that. K6 KGV, K6 KJV. Is there something you've done recently for the first time, like pronounced your call sign correctly?
I wholeheartedly have agreed with the government of Somalia. I think that Ilhan Omar should be deported. So there you go. Let me have a question.
Yep, we even help. That'd be a good GoFundMe. Probably wouldn't work. Wind up being stolen somehow. It's like the people that talk about how great it is for America to go to war. Okay, well here's your rifle and your flak jacket. Go do it. Your question is, where was the first modern Olympic Games held in 1896? Where did they hold that first modern Olympic Games in 1896? A, Detroit, B, London, or C, Athens?
Yeah, I'm not big on the Olympics, but I'm going to say Athens. So, God bless 73. I'm Maranatha. Back to you there, Alex. Jesus, KGV.
And it's correct. Athens it was. It was in honor of the ancient games. So they held it in Athens as the first city in 1896 for the modern Olympic Games. Thank you, Kevin, and may the roses bloom. Jason, Oakville, Ontario, Canada. V3DFG. Something you've done recently for the first time there, Jason?
Good evening to you and everybody else. Yeah, I have a number of aquariums here that I keep, and ice fishing this year I did hook a bunch of weeds, so I decided to bring them home and throw them in their own tank, and yeah, it's remarkable what kind of stuff lives on just a bunch of weeds, so first time ever owning a wild tank, but yeah, so back to you.
Yeah, next time you're at that pond, grab a water sample and then your microscope and look at all the interesting little paramecium and all that in that water. It comes from those plants. Anyway, your question is, what was the first city, another Olympics question, what was the first city to host the Olympic Games twice? First city to host the Games twice. Was it A, London, B, Paris, or Minneapolis, St. Paul? Once is Minneapolis, once is St. Paul.
I really have no idea, so I'll do the same as the gentleman earlier, and I'll split it and just go for Bravo. But thanks for doing the net. Always a pleasure to be a part of it.
Thank you, Jason. And this time it's correct. Bravo is the answer. It was Paris. Was the first city to host the Olympic Games twice. Thank you, Jason. David, Owensboro, Kentucky, W9, DWH. Something you had done recently for the first time, David?
Good evening, Alex, and everyone on the net. And unfortunately, I can't think of a thing this evening.
All right, that's okay. A lot of people, they haven't tried anything new recently. Your question is, which ancient civilization is credited with the invention of the first written alphabet? Yep, who was the first civilization to create a written alphabet? Was it A, the Sumerians, B, the Phoenicians, or C, the Rastafarians?
Or D, Chef Boyardee. No clue, but instead of splitting it down the middle, I think I'll try to take it off the top and guess Alpha. As always, thanks for running that, Alex, and hope to catch everybody next week. W9, DWH.
Well, close, but no alphabets. It was the Phoenicians, B, that are credited with the invention of the first written alphabet. Did a lot of stuff and don't get credit for it. Anyway, thank you, David. All right, this is W7FTM along with Vicky, KE8VKY. You're listening to the Saturday Night Trivia Net on the East Coast Reflector, and we're going to Timothy in Tillamook, Oregon, KK7NXV. All right, now, Timothy, something you've done recently for the first time.
This is KK7NXV. Finally, somebody else in my family has a kid, so becoming an uncle.
Uncle Timmy, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, they'll call you all kinds of weird names, but just pick the one you like and say, yeah, that's what I'll go by. Kids are that way. All right, your question is, in Star Wars A New Hope from 1977, you know, the original movie, who is Luke Skywalker's sister? Is that A, Leia Organa, B, Rey Skywalker, or C, R2-D2?
This is KK. I'm going to go for Alpha. KK7 NXV back to net. 73.
Yeah, a lot of people don't recognize Leia by her full name. It's just Princess Leia. She was Leia Organa. Leia Organa. That's Princess Leia. And that turned out to be Luke's sister, even though he kissed her in the first movie. Platonic, I guess. Thank you, Timothy. Rich in Meadow Lakes, Alaska, made it in. KL4RCS. How you doing, buddy? Is there something you've done recently for the first time?
Good evening, Alex, and all the net. 40 degrees here in Meadow Lakes, Alaska, KL4RCS. Yeah, absolutely. I just recently, well, not too long ago, got to use my new kinetic off-road recovery ropes, and man, I'll tell you what, they work fabulous. Back to you.
That's, yeah, probably. You could use them more anyway. Your question, Rich, is, which country was ruled by ancient pharaohs? Yeah, which country are we talking about? Is it A, Egypt, B, Greece, or C, Persia?
Gotta go with Alpha. Thanks for doing the net. Always enjoy it. Talk to you soon. Kill 4RC.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd fool anybody with that one. You're correct. Yeah, it was Egypt is ruled by the ancient pharaohs. Thank you, Rich. Hey, we got Leo, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, K4ITA. Leo, how you doing? Is there something you've done recently for the first time?
Good evening. Good evening, Alex. How you doing? Good evening. Good evening, Vicky. I hope you can hear me. Yes. And good evening from Fort Lauderdale. Nice to be here. I love this net. I was thinking about it. In my regular personal business life, not a lot I did recently. So I switched to M radio, and talking about M radio, I finally was able to digital voice on HF. Digital voice on HF with. I love that. Back to you, Alex.
Yep, it is a lot of fun conversing with people you don't know from all over the world, and most of them are pretty decent. Well, sometimes somebody talks to me, but that's another story. Your question, Leo. All right. You know your old-time movies are there, Leo. Who played the role, the iconic role of Private Detective Sam Spade in The Maltese Falcon from 1941? Was that A, Humphrey Bogart, B, James Cagney, or C, Cary Grant?
Well, I have no idea. So I go with Alpha. Yeah, the old movies are not my specialty. I really don't know almost anything about that. So let's go with Alpha. Everybody, good night and happy Easter. Happy Easter. Bye.
That was an excellent guess, Leo, because just about every movie from the late 30s and in the 1940s, Humphrey Bogart's pretty much the correct answer. That, yeah, he played Sam Spade in The Maltese Falcon. James Cagney, his decade was a little bit earlier, but he was real popular. And Cary Grant was in the 50s. Of course, he was in the 40s too, but he started really getting popular in the 50s. So you got it, buddy. Thank you. Brian, C4BR. Something you've done recently for the first time, Brian?
Good evening, Alex and Vicky and everybody on the net. Well, I guess probably use a in-fed half-wave antenna on HF, of course. I've messed around with some verticals and such, but I tried one of those out today. Down at a little family get-together and kind of off on the side after everybody else had kind of meandered around and left, and kind of everybody was starting to pack up and such, and had a good time on 10 and 20 meters there. So I guess that'd be my answer. But what's my question there, Alex?
Yep, you got to know how to work a room. That's for sure. Your question is: the original Star Trek TV series was known for having campy episodes. Very campy. What did the characters in the episode The Way to Eden depict? And what did they depict on The Way to Eden? Was it A, rowdy space bikers, B, singing space hippies, or C, nerdy space ham radio operators?
well, get their chunks out of the way there. Well, unfortunately, I'm a lot more familiar with TNG than I am with the original, but and I'm guessing the hippie stuff would have started by then, so I'll go with the hippie one. What was that, Bravo? I can't remember. Anyway, turn back to you, Alex, and wish everybody a good rest of their weekend. AC4BR.
Brian, you chose wisely, because you're exactly correct. That was the hippie era back in the mid to late 60s, and so they did an episode about singing space hippies in the episode called The Way to Eden. It was pretty bad, but I've seen worse Star Trek episodes than that one. Thank you. Thank you, Brian. You got it. Ed, Harrogate, Tennessee, KF4ACB. Is there something you've done recently for the first time?
Good evening, Alex, KF4ACB. There's actually been quite a few firsts here lately, but I'll try to choose just one. I actually drove to the Sevierville Hamfest for the first time on my own in my modified handicap van using the hand controls.
Oh, that's cool. I'm sure you're a lot safer on the road than Tiger Woods or a foreign trucker, but that's great, Ed. Congratulations, and that would be an interesting first. I don't think I'd want to try it. If I needed to, I probably would do it, but you did. So your question is, Ed, if you're a vegetarian, you may want to skip this item for dessert. What item are we talking about? A, bananas, B, apple cider donuts, or C, Hostess Twinkies?
My goodness. You gave everybody else questions I knew an answer to. Every one of them. And this one I'm not sure, but I'm going to go Hostess Twinkies.
Come on, Ed, more fun when you can guess at it, and yeah, that's it, Hostess Twinkie. Hostess Twinkies, yeah, not for vegetarians because they're made with beef fat, but, you know, that's, I think most vegetarians or vegans probably realize that one. Thank you, buddy. All right, finally on the last one of the call list we have for now is Lynn in Sylvania, Ohio, KF8 EJA. Something you've done recently for the first time, Lynn? Lynn in Sylvania, Ohio, KF8 EJA. Lynn, I have a schedule to keep. I already did that one, didn't I? Maybe later. All right, taking more check-ins for the Star Night Trivia Net. Full call sign phonetically twice, please.
KF6HDJ, Kilo Foxtrot 6, Hotel Delta Juliet.
KD2, KSI, Kilo Delta 2, Kilo Sierra India, Christian in New Jersey.
This is
Kilowatt 5 Alpha Sierra Lima. Kilowatt 5 Alpha Sierra Lima Charlie in Lumberton, Mississippi.
This is
Kilo 4
Whiskey 5 Juliet Alpha Zulu, W5 to AZ Bill in Houston.
VK3 AWA, VK3 Alpha Whiskey Alpha.
Kilo Charlie 5 Charlie KC5CZX.
Bravo 3, India Lima Alpha. Whiskey Bravo 3, India Lima Alpha.
Kilo India 5, Whiskey Uniform, KI5WWU.
Okay, hold on a second there. The QC5 station, sorry, I didn't quite get your call sign. I think you've checked in before, but if you'd come again with your phone call sign phonetically twice, please. That's okay. I just may have misheard it anyway. So we do have checking in here. We have Brent in Pensacola, Florida, KF6HTJ. Christian in Malapan, New Jersey, KD2KSI. Charles in Lumberton, Mississippi, K85ASL. We have Boyce in Surprise, K4BBR. How you doing, Boyce? We have Daryl, one of our system facilitators in Paradise Beach, Australia, VK3AWA, or well, wherever you are now. Daryl in Lubbock, Texas, KC5CZX, Stephen in Easton, Pennsylvania, WB3ILA, and Lynn in Houston, KI5WWU. The question of the night, is there something you've done recently for the first time? Brent, Pensacola, KF6HTJ.
Well, good evening, Alex and Vicki. It's not often that you can stump me on the general question, but you certainly have, and I guess I need to get out more because I can't come up with anything. Back for my actual question.
No problem, Brent. Appreciate you being honest, because you could have made up something, and you didn't, so... Yeah, just think of the things you could make up. Well, never mind. Your question is... which of the following is not the name of an actual dessert? Yeah, which is not the name of an actual dessert? So, one is and two aren't. Is it two are and one isn't. Is it A, spotted dick, B, nipples of Venus, C, Rocky Mountain oysters? Which one is not an actual dessert?
Well, okay. There is such thing as Rocky Mountain oysters, but it's an appetizer. It is not normally dessert, as far as I know. So I'm going to go with Charlie, KF6HDJ.
Which is just what I was going to say. Yeah, it's an appetizer, not a dessert. You're right. Yeah, they're and for the people who don't know what Rocky Mountain oysters are, you'll have to look it up. Let's just say that no parts of a bowl are ever wasted. Yeah, spotted dick is a British cake, popular in Britain, and nipples of Venus are Italian chestnut and brandy-infused chocolate truffles covered in white chocolate. Sounds good. You ever saw the movie Amadeus? They were shown there, so that's goes back a ways. Thank you, Brent. Christian, Manapalan, New Jersey, KD2KSI. Is there something you've done recently for the first time?
KD2KSI. Got you again with the town name, Alex. It's maybe the third time I'm checking in, and we're still having a hard time with that one. I lived here 5 years, and it's still a tongue twister. So, yeah, I was trying to figure out what I could say, and then I realized that recently, for the last several months, I had been looking for a new job, and I got hired by an IT company that does government contracting. And a first for me is being interviewed one-on-one by a defense intelligence security agent. And also another first was realizing how dull and boring and not worth it the job was and quit less than 2 weeks in. That's the first time I've ever done that. It's the first time I've ever gone through background checks and fingerprinting and photographing and driving here and doing this and that, and then only to, you know, take the plunge and commit to pull a complete 180. Never did that before. There's a bunch of firsts in there, but yeah, thanks for doing the net, and I'm ready for my question.
I know that's happened to me before. You looked good at first, and the interview process was somewhat, well, strict, and then didn't turn out what I thought it was going to be. It was some time ago, though. My wife applied for a job a while back, insurance job, where you had to answer all these questions. One of those, if you're driving down a road at 50 miles an hour and you stop 3 times and go in reverse for 10 miles, how far have you traveled? One of those questions. And it was timed. If you didn't answer it within 30 seconds, they just ding you for it and then move to the next one. Yeah, it was weird. Your question is, Lou Pearlman, the creator of the boy band NSYNC, remember them? Put in their contract that he would receive 90% of their earnings, while the band members were paid A, a $35 a day allowance, B, with all the groupies they wanted, or C, with all the alcohol and drugs they wanted. What was in the contract that the generous Mr. Pearlman drew up?
I would like to hope that it's alpha, for the sake of it being, you know, appropriate and legal. Well, barely legal. I mean, paying somebody $35 is almost criminal itself, but the other two don't sound so appropriate. So I'll say alpha, and that's probably why Justin Timberlake went off on his own and became a megastar, and now he's probably a lot more rich than the rest of them. Thanks for doing the net, and look forward to next week. KD2KSI.
Yeah, who also got busted for DUI recently, but at least it didn't pull the I'm on the phone with the president nonsense. He actually did it in a dignified way, but you're correct. Yeah, it was $35 a day allowance that Pearlman was going to pay did pay the boy band NSYNC. Of course, they were famous. They probably, yeah, sure, whatever. And Pearlman, described by band member Lance Bass as being way too touchy-feely with him, was arrested for running several Ponzi schemes and later died in prison. So, yeah, this guy was a real rat hole. So, thank you. A real rat. Anyway, thank you. Thank you, Christian. Charles in Lumberton, Mississippi, Canada, K5, ASL. Is something you recently done for the first time?
Everybody on the net, this is K5 ASL. Yeah, I am learning so that's it for me. So try it out, figure it out. But having fun. I've made a few contacts so far. Anyway, back to net control.
Thank you, Charlie. You cut out a little bit. You want to give that to me one more time? What's something new you've done recently?
Well, I am on a different radio. Let's see if we get closer, but been using the cheaper radio. But I'm doing, started using FT8. I played with Packet before, but never FT8. Now I'm trying it out. Learn how to do.
You're one of those guys causing all the interference on 12 meters near the lower end of the band. I hear that. But yeah, it's okay. Obviously, that's not for to voice that part. And got you that time. Thanks. Yeah, you have more audio on this. It's stronger. So, It's still kind of a little bit, but that's just packet stuff. Your question is, actor Michael Keaton's real name, the original, well, not the original Batman, that was Adam West, but the original one for the later movies was, never mind. Actor Michael Keaton's real name is A, Michael Flanagan, B, Michael Douglas, or C, Isir Danilovich.
It is Michael Douglas. Michael Douglas, K5ASL.
Yeah, right you are. He is Michael Douglas, and since that name was already taken, Isir Danilovich's son, Kirk Douglas, he had to pick another name because they wouldn't, the Hollywood union wouldn't let him in. So he just opened an LA phone book and picked the first name his finger landed on, and it was Keaton. So kind of a cool backstory, actually. Thank you, Charles Boyce, and surprise, K4BBR. Welcome back, Boyce. Something you've done recently for the first time?
Well, good evening, Alex. I was sitting here thinking I must lead a pretty boring life because I can't think of anything I've done recently that I hadn't done before. Now, I've seen a shooting star before, but it's so pleasant tonight. I was sitting out in the front yard. I just had the most amazing shooting star I've ever seen in my life come right over my house and burn out. And it was like nothing I've ever seen. And I've seen them before. So I'll count that as my first. And I wish I had it recorded. I'd love to go back and watch it again.
Yeah, those are very cool. I've had the rare opportunity of seeing maybe 3 or 4 in my lifetime that were close, and different colors too. The red one that went over when I was a teenager in Scottsdale was kind of cool, and then one in, I was in East Mesa once. You could see it coming from the west to east. It was a blue-white one, and I heard it go by. You could see debris coming off it, burning off of it. It actually made a sound as it went overhead, so it must have hit, not too far away, but yeah. Hey, thanks, boys. Back to the net. Your question is, in the United States, there are almost as many of these as there are people. A, cars, B, fast food restaurants, or C, lawyers.
Wow, there's not a D, all of the above. Automobiles, I guess. I simply don't know where we put them all. Because there's a ton of them out there. And you go by these lots and they're packed full. So let me go with cars. And by the way, the one that I just saw a minute ago, the shooting star, it also had sparks or something trailing off of it. I've never seen one like that. So, yeah, first.
Yeah, these aren't the little flashes of light that you get like during a meteor shower that you see in the Perseid or whatever. These are ones that usually they're rogue, they're low, and they put on quite the display. So, unfortunately, like you said, we didn't have our cameras ready at the time. We didn't know it was coming, and it went so fast. It probably wouldn't have helped anyway. Thank you, boys. You are correct. Yeah, it is cars. It is cars. Lawyers aren't people. So, but any of those could have been true. At the state average is 910 cars per 1,000 people. Now in Europe, it's 587 cars per 1,000 people, so we're number 1. Thank you, boys. Daryl, one of our facilitators in Australia, VK3AWA. Daryl, are you still in the Paradise Beach, or am I misreading that?
Good evening, Alex, Vicky, and listeners. No, I'm still there. That's me. We haven't moved, Alex. And before I answer the question, I like your musical reference to King Crimson. It's probably not a lot that would have realised what that was about, but I had a little chuckle. I was sitting in the barber's chair getting my hair cut, and the barber is my wife. What have I done lately that I've never done before? I've got an American call sign, which is KK9AWA. Ready for my question, Alex? Go ahead.
Yeah, that's right. I heard about that you got the American call sign. Yeah, good. Very good. Yeah, the wife is a barber. Saves a lot of money. If she's good at it. I'm sure she is. And thanks for getting the King Crimson joke. I wondered if that was just nobody would get. But thank you, Gerald. Your question is, unlike the countries of Spain, Italy, Greece, the Philippines, Nigeria, and many others, the United States has never embraced the tradition of A, having multiple wives, B, sunbathing in the nude, or C, napping.
I'm going to go with A, multiple wives, which is not a bad thing, Alex.
It makes sense because then they help each other and raise the truth. I better not say anymore. I'll get in trouble. No, it's napping. Yeah, Spain, Italy, Greece, Philippines, Nigeria, and a whole bunch of others. Daytime napping is very popular, and it's considered laziness in the U.S. So, thank you, Daryl. All right, Daryl in Lubbock, Texas, KC5. CZX, something you've done recently for the first time. Kissed one of your wives? I don't know.
Well, good evening, Alex, and the rest of the net. KC5CZX. We recently got a zero-turn lawnmower. You know, it drives like skid steer. And it took me a little bit to get adjusted to it, but I figured it out. So on with my question. Go ahead.
Cool. I always wanted a good riding lawnmower when I was a kid, and I had to mow a very, very large yard. I couldn't get the parents to go for it, but well. Your question is, what's the one major difference between shopping in America and shopping in Europe? One major difference. Is it A, looters aren't considered undocumented shoppers in Europe? B, in Europe, the total price of an item, including taxes, is listed on the price tag, not added later. Or C, in America, there aren't snooty clerks to criticize you when you return something, except in Neiman Marcus. I tried to return a handbag for my wife once and quickly found out why she wanted me to do it. But what do you say, Daryl?
Well, as funny as it may seem, I've been to more foreign countries than continental U.S. states. And the answer to that is the B, where it's the taxes thing on the groceries. It's all on one. Whatever you see is what you pay.
Yeah, how about that? And a lot of Americans don't know that, but when you shop in Europe, the total price better be on the price tag, and that better be what you pay, or you can file a complaint, and they take that pretty seriously. So it seems like a good idea to me. But all the various taxes and the much as they change over here, yeah, who knows if that would work. Thank you, buddy. You got it, Steve in Eastern Pennsylvania, almost at the bottom of the list. Got two more. WB3 ILA, Stephen. Something you've done recently for the first time?
Good evening, Alex, and also to Vicki for doing all the paperwork, which is very needy and important. Real quick, I just want to say I listened to Boyce a little bit ago. I'd love to live in a town named Surprise, because then when somebody asks me where I'm from, I could just tell them it's a surprise and see if they could guess it. But anyway, but that was cute. What I'm doing right now is going through one of those internet cash for cars thing, selling an old 27-year-old minivan that my wife's parents gave us a three years ago. That's takes too much to get fixed, so we're going through all of that, and that's the first time. It's a little bit tricky if you don't know what you're doing. But supposed to come and supposed to come pick it up on Tuesday. We'll see what happens. Anyway, back to you, Alex, for my question.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun with the town names out here in Arizona. There's Surprise, which is always fun to poke fun at. We have a Y, Arizona, W-H-Y. And we have a Nothing, Arizona. Small town, but nonetheless creative cowboys from way back when. And, all right, and, sorry, what was the something you've done recently for the first time? I didn't quite catch it.
I want to get rid of a used car over the internet. One of those cash for cars outfits over the internet, and they come and take it away and all that, and sign the title over. So it's not something I've ever done before. Usually you sell it to somebody or trade a car in, right? So this is the first time I'm going through that.
Let me know how it works out. I've wondered about that. Last time I sold a car, it was stuck an ad in the local paper and hope somebody doesn't show up that might rob you blind. But that's why you meet at a neutral location. Your question is, in the early 20th century, asthma was treated by A, daily enemas, B, daily sex, or C, daily cigarettes.
Staying away from the last two, I have to pick Alpha. Whether I'm right or not, that's what I'm sticking with. So, anyway, everybody have a good Easter. Back to you, WB3ILI.
Easter to you, and I know back in those early 20th century days, I thought enemas was good for everything, but it was daily cigarettes they used to treat asthma. The Asthmador cigarettes contain deuterostramonium, a plant used to treat asthma. They didn't have tobacco in it or much tobacco, but they had this other herb, and supposedly worked pretty good for asthma. I wonder if it worked today. People using all those dangerous inhalers and stuff like my sister-in-law. I recommend you try cigarettes. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen. Lynn in Houston. KI5WW, something you've done recently for the first time there, Lynn?
Good evening, Alex and Vicki. Happy Easter to everyone. KI5WW, Lynn in Houston. Dealing with a pinched nerve in my neck that hasn't responded. And so last week, for the first time, I went to a chiropractor, but we'll see how this works out. So ready for my question, sir.
Yeah, I've had relatives that have had mostly good luck with chiropractors. Anyway, I do wish you well and good luck with that. Your question is, what structure forms when magma cools inside the crust? When magma cools inside the crust, what structure forms? Is that A, a pluton, B, a batholith, or C, a rock burrito? How's your geology there, Lynn?
Let's see. I'm going to go with Bravo. Have a good net. Thanks again. KI5WW, back to you.
Well, at least you know it wasn't a rock burrito. It was it's a pluton, is when the structure that forms when magma cools inside the crust. So, well, useless trivia here on the Cernak Trivia Net, and we're taking more check-ins, by the way. Full call sign phonetically twice, please.
This is Whiskey 5, Juliet Alpha Zulu. Whiskey 5, Juliet Alpha Zulu. Bill in Houston.
Mike, Juliet, Mike. Kilo Oscar 6, Mike, Juliet, Mike.
Okay, picked up two more there, W5JZ, Bill and Dallas, and the Mike, Juliet Mike station, come again with your prefix.
Mike, Juliet, Mike. Kilo Oscar 6, Mike, Juliet, Mike.
Okay, got it that time. Might be a new ham, not showing up in the QRZ. That's no problem. Our crack staff working in the background will figure it out. All right, question of the night. Is there something you've done recently for the first time? Bill and Dallas, W5JZ, welcome back to the net. How about it?
Well, actually, I'm coming to you from Houston tonight, just visiting for the weekend. But, well, I probably shouldn't tell you this. But, you know, I go on my Route 66 trips a lot, and this is the first time I had ever done this in a little ghost town in the Mojave Desert. I got up the bravery to do a little urban exploration, and there was an old schoolhouse that was kind of behind a fence, and that was the part that was, you know, a little But either way, I was able to get through the fence, and I went inside and explored and took some pictures. So, first time I've ever done that. I've always seen, you know, other YouTube people and TikTok and doing the urban exploration thing, but this was my opportunity to do it, and it was fun. So, what else do you have for me?
Oh, I understand perfectly, Bill. There's a few mine shafts around Arizona that aren't blocked up, you know, for our own safety, of course. And I've begun to explore carefully. You know, looking for gold everywhere around here. And that's cool. It's funny. It's a good thing you didn't walk in there and find a bunch of preppers, you know, waiting for the end of the world. That's good. So, your question is, in which year did Julius Caesar cross the Rubicon River, sparking a civil war? That predates most of us. Julius Caesar crossed the Rubicon River in which year? Was it A, 49 BC, B, 4 BC, or C, 1833 AD?
Well, yeah, that predates me for sure, but my wild guess is going to say A. So there it is. But actually, back to the urban exploration thing for a second. So, you know, when you're in a moment like that, you're pretty sure that you're alone, and then something happens where you realize that you were not alone. So, I was walking through a couple of the rooms, and then all of a sudden I got into a big room. I think it was maybe the gymnasium or something. And then all of a sudden, this flutter of activity, and sure enough, there was a bird that was hiding up near one of the windows, and as soon as I went in there, it got super scared and fluttered out. But anyway, I'll take alpha for my question. All right, this is Bill, W5JAZ. Good to talk to you, 73.
And scaring wildlife, another felony in California anyway, but probably not Texas. You're correct. Yeah, it was 49 BC. See, you see, because Caesar was before Jesus, and he ruled 49 BC. 4 BC was too recent, and 1833 AD is just right out. So you got it. Thank you, Bill. And finally, Tyler in Seaside, California, K06MJM. Welcome to the Australian Trivia Net. And the question of the night is there something you've done recently for the first time?
K06MJM. I can say at least in the following hour or two, listening to you guys, I have made a cram to get home, and with the help of, I think you may have heard Little Owl way early. He's usually on the very beginning. He greatly assisted me in getting a mobile setup. However, getting my know-hows of programming it has been a crunch, and I haven't quite figured out how to get the offset programmed in, but I got it all soldered, and I just read the instruction manual completely in my attempt to talk tonight on that radio. But I figured I'd best skip to. I just got to the handheld. So anyway, yes, thank you.
Yeah, no problem, Tyler. Al's a good guy. I know you wouldn't think, but he is a good guy. And it's funny, the offset usually is automatic on those radios, but it's the tone squelch and the tone and all that people, they don't realize they need to enable it, the tone encode, and then, that's what messes you up on those radios. But once you get the hang of it. All right, your question is, in Gone with the Wind, and moral movie stuff, Gone with the Wind in 1939, who played Rhett Butler? Which famous actor played Rhett Butler? Was it A, Clark Gable, B, Cary Grant, C, Humphrey Bogart? Oh, Tyler, K06MGM, are you still with us?
The repeater does some funny business on long things. It turns off for about 2 minutes, and it turned off right in the middle of your telling me the question. So
Yeah, it's okay. Usually they last a little longer than that before they out. But all right, your question is, we'll make it quick for you. In the Gone with the Wind in 1939, who played Rhett Butler? Was it A, Clark Gable, B, Cary Grant, C, Humphrey Bogart?
I recognize one name, although I'm not a phenomenal movie guy. I will go with your Bravo out of a mild, you might consider it a guess, but
Well, you're in the right era there. Cary Grant was a little more popular later. It was Clark Gable, who goes way back, who was Rhett Butler in Gone with the Wind in 1939. And I don't think they can even show that movie in California anymore, can they? It's too politically incorrect, unwoke, well, without a warning anyway, before the movie. Brother, people should know that without needing a warning. But thank you, Tyler. All right, that's the end of my calling list. This is W7FTM along with KE8VKY. You're listening to the Saturday Night Trivia Net on the East Coast Reflector. We'll take more check-ins, so call sign phonetically twice, please.
Or 9.
9 Bravo, Kilo Lima.
Whiskey 0 Quebec Golf. Whiskey 0 Quebec Golf.
KG5 EGD, KG5 EGD.
All right, then picked up 3 more. Let's see, I thought maybe everybody was going to bed early for the Easter Bunny coming tomorrow, but I know I'm going to be. But we have Matthew in Mazomini, Wisconsin, K9BKL. Welcome back. Devin in Austin, Texas, W0QG, and Alvin in Houston, KG5EGD. Question of the night, is there something you've done recently for the first time? Over to Matthew, K9BKL.
I guess, the first thing, most recently I've, figured out how fast my truck can go on a closed course, on private property, of course. About 115 miles an hour. Oh, that was kind of cool. Back to you.
Yeah, just watching those white lines fly by. Oh, you said a closed course. Well, never. It's not as much fun, but I hear you. Okay, oh, and is it Mazamini or Mazamani? Oh, anyway, you tell me later. I'll figure it out. I'm good with the Western Indian names. I got all those down. It's the Eastern U.S. Indian names I am not familiar with. All right, of course, it could be a Polish name. Your question is, British Army tanks have this feature built in. A picture of the current monarch. B, a tea kettle. Or C, an RPG deflector. What do they have, Maggie?
I'm gonna go with, Bravo, a tea kettle, and it's Mazomini, Wisconsin.
Mazomini. Well, I had it right the first time. That's unusual. And you are correct. It is a tea kettle. Yep. British Army tanks have a tea kettle built in. Ever since World War II, they've had those. It was too dangerous to step outside the tank to make tea, which you have to do if you're British. So they provided a way to do it inside the tank. That's, all right. Thank you, Matt. Devin, Austin, Texas. W0QG. Devin, something you've done recently for the first time?
Hey, that's a really good question. I think the other week I'm a pretty recent ham. Got my ticket earlier, January, February, so. But I sent my first QSL card out about a couple weeks ago. And that was pretty cool. Back in that.
Yeah, it is. You're talking the mail QSL cards, which we have from the old CB days when you weren't supposed to talk on the propagation. I know I said this before, but I always find it ironic that the 11-meter band, where you're not supposed to talk more than 150 miles, has the best propagation of just about anywhere on HF. Yeah, well, your question is, which nation has announced plans to phase out internal combustion engine cars? Yeah, which nation announced that? Is it A, Mordor, B, Russia, or C, the United Kingdom?
I'm going to go with Mordor, because I like Mordor. Thanks for writing that, 7-3.
I think they're more into, let's see, what do they call those things that launch the spears and not just the catapults, the other, anyway. Actually, it's the United Kingdom. It's going to phase out internal combustion engine cars. So, good luck with that. Cars are small enough, maybe they can do it. Alvin, Houston, Texas, KG5EGD. Is something you've done recently for the first time?
And this is KG5EGD. Yeah, I hate to admit this, but today, early this morning, I went and unplugged all my ham equipment for the first time. Normally I wait right till the time that the storm coming through. But this morning, first thing off, when I heard that it's going to be bad, I went and unhooked everything. So tonight I can talk on the radio now.
Yeah, I understand. I had to, every now and then we'll get monsoon storms that come through here, and I have to go out and lower my 10-meter antenna because it's 24 feet high in fiberglass, and it's not a good combination for high winds. But all right, Dalvin, your question is, let's see, old movie question for you. Who starred as the leading lady in the Philadelphia Story from 1940? Who was the leading lady in that movie? Was it A, Katharine Hepburn, B, Audrey Hepburn, or C, Bernadette Peters?
I know I should say B, but it's A.
Good choice, since Bernadette Peters hadn't been conceived yet. Why, what a concept that was. It's Katharine Hepburn, yeah. It was the leading lady in the Philadelphia Story. Pretty good movie. Have we seen that one? Yeah, or maybe. Thank you all. All right, this is W7FTM in Scottsdale, Arizona. That's the end of my call list. A few more minutes left. Taking more check-ins. Full call sign medically priced. We'll get your trivia question. Hey, one more time, last call. Full call sign medically twice, please.
KG5EGD was a question.
Well, yes, go ahead, Alvin.
Do you know if there's going to be another net here at 12 o'clock?
Not on the East Coast Reflector unless they're running one in the black market I don't know about, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I'll stand by and listen.
It for tonight. Let's see how we did. We had 46 people checking in tonight, and again, thanks to everybody who did. And of those who participated and asked or answered the question and wasn't in and out, we had 29 people got their question correct. Only 14 people missed their question. That's 67.4% correct to 32.6% missed it by that much. Again, I'd like to thank everybody who participated. Special thanks, of course, to Vicky, K8VKY, for logging the net. And the East Coast Reflector hosts many interesting nets during the week. For more information, visit eastcoastreflector.com and select the Nets tab on the main page. We are now returning control of the ECR back to normal amateur use at 9:51 p.m. Mountain Standard Time or 4:51 a.m. UTC. Until next week at the same time when the control voice will take you to the Saturday Night Trivia Net. 7:30. Good night. W7 FTM Clear.